You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Road Rants for Black and White Sports. Well, this is where the Lia Thomas story takes a very awkward and disturbing turn. Now, Lia Thomas, I refuse to say she, he is a transgender swimmer that is competing and beating badly biological females in swimming competition. We have been covering this at length, maybe have made 10, 12 videos, 15 videos about this very issue. It's taken on national coverage among conservative outlets. The mainstream media doesn't want to have anything to do with this except to praise it as brave, stunning, and courageous. I believe it's anything but that. I think it's unfair. It's unfair to the females that have been working their entire lives to get scholarships, go on, compete, and then have this male come in and destroy them, their records, everything that they have worked for. Parents are outraged. You literally have NCAA officials quitting over this transgender competition rules that are in place. And, of course, all this is going down with the University of Pennsylvania. And you had a recent situation where allegedly there was collusion with another transgender swimmer. Well, now it has just taken a turn into the disturbing, in my opinion. Lia Thomas's teammate says locker room is definitely awkward because Thomas is showing, and I'm going to clean this up for YouTube, private parts. That's right. Private parts are being exposed, allegedly. A teammate of Lia Thomas on the University of Pennsylvania women's swim team told the Daily Mail that the locker room she shares with Thomas is, quote, definitely awkward because Lia still has male body parts and is still attracted to female, unquote. The Daily Mail reports includes that an anonymous teammate stated that although Thomas' male private parts are often covered by a towel, there have been a number of times Thomas' nudity has been revealed, exposing said private parts for women on the team to glimpse and making them feel uncomfortable. Thomas has told teammates of having dated women, the Daily Mail reported. The anonymous teammate purportedly charged that women on the team have articulated their concern with the coach, Mike Schooner, in order to get Thomas barred from the locker room, but to no avail. And this is where it gets really disturbing, in my opinion, that what's really happening here is that because the NCAA wants to be brave, stunning, and courageous and cater to a very, 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 very minute part of the population, they are willing to push women out of their own locker rooms. She stated, multiple swimmers have raised it multiple times, have brought it up. But we were basically told that we could not ostracize Lia by not having her in the locker room and that there's nothing we can do about it. That basically we have to roll over and accept it or we cannot use our own locker room. So they're willing to kick biological women out of their locker room for this male that wants to compete against females. It's really upsetting because Lia doesn't seem to care how it makes anyone else feel. Now, there's been stories out there that Lia Thomas has actually been pretty arrogant about all of this and has actually sort of done a lot of bragging about the fact that I guess he's blowing these women out of the water in competition. I have no idea from a competitive standpoint how a male could look themselves in the mirror after beating women and think they've really achieved something. The 35 of us, there's 35 of us that are supposed to just accept being uncomfortable in our own space and locker room for like the feelings of one. Wow. The school was so focused on making sure Lia was okay and doing everything they could possibly do for her that they didn't even think about the rest of us. It just seems like the women who built this program and the people who were here before Lia don't matter. Boy, we've seen a lot of that in entertainment. Oh, yeah, those properties you love, we're going to destroy them for a very, very minute piece of society. And it's frustrating because Lia doesn't really seem to be bothered by all the attention. Not at all. That goes back to what I was saying a minute ago. Actually, it seems he/she seems to really enjoy it. It's affected all of us more than it's affected her. So Lia Thomas doesn't seem to be struggling at all. Even though I thought a component to this was supposed to be a mental side of it where transgenders are really dealing with all this in the struggle. But it seems that Lia is dealing with this just fine. The teammate told the Daily Mail that she had discussed with her teammates possibly launching a protest at a swim meet. But the consensus was that they'd be putting themselves at risk. No doubt, the school would probably suspend them. Quote, "We've all tried to think of anything we could do, but I just don't know what we could do that basically would have us not be swimming." In other words, they can't even protest this because they won't be allowed to compete. Also, a biological male can go out and compete and beat women and break women's records. We already lost a year due to COVID. People don't want to put their own swim careers on hold. And, of course, it goes into last Saturday. And it talks about another video I did where he did lose to another transgender, Isaac Henning, who swims for Yale. And that happens to be a transgender, by the way, female transitioning to male. Now, allegedly, Henning's not taking any testosterone or anything like that, but a story came out about collusion, possibly, prior to the race, where Thomas may have taken one, not for the Penn team, the Penn swim team, or not for the Yale team, but for the transgender team, in order to get Henning a couple of wins. That's all allegedly. That's all speculation from a woman on the Penn swim team. They think there was something very fishy and that it looked like in those particular races, Thomas was not even trying. Like there was something intentional there slowing Thomas down because normally Thomas just dominates everything and it's not even close. I saw a couple of pictures of Lia Thomas, by the way, at some of these meets, and she was taller than she was taller than some men at these meets, bigger than some men at these meets. It's really disturbing that this is what women that are trying to compete are having to deal with, and now we find out that Lia/Will Thomas's private parts now are being exposed at times in the locker room. Now, these are daughters, young women. We're talking 18, 19-year-old. I was actually in college at 17. Right there in front of, in the locker room, he's seeing women unclothed, and he dates women. This is extremely, extremely disturbing. I cannot believe the NCAA allows this. You would think if anybody would have sanctions lobbied against them, it would be the NCAA, but they're protecting this sort of thing. They are allowing and condoning this kind of atrociousness on college campuses. It's scary. It's scary. And in women's sports, look, I'm sorry, women's sports doesn't even matter anymore. It just doesn't. Long term, women's sports will be run amok with biological males defeating women all across women's sports. Title IX, be damned. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.